Good evening, comrades. May I present the single, solitary reason why Russia has more trees than any country on Earth. This clinking, clanking, clattering communist piece of collisionist junk. But is it so? This is my $50 chainsaw-like contraption that I bought from Ukraine for $500. I bought it based solely on looks, and like women from that part of the world, it's visually striking, a little bit dangerous, and I'm not man enough to know how to handle it. This got tossed in the pile of projects that defeated me. Failed projects are surprisingly good for YouTube, but they taunt me like the telltale heart. But if my failures are so entertaining to you jackals, I figure, why not fail twice? It's a proven formula. Except this time, I might actually succeed. Ugly as it is, it's got a couple things going for it. It's got modern-ish electronic ignition. Excellent compression. Well, acceptable compression. But unfortunately, all of that is rendered null and void by a feckless starter from hell. But wait, let it be known to the world. You can trust Ukrainians. My man came through for me. Shipped me a brand new starter, free of charge. This one's plastic, but it does work like a hot damn, for the moment. And let's not forget what the big Husky starter's made from, and that thing's a beast, so it's looking good. Ah, that's right. Some enterprising young stud muffin welded a socket directly over the teeth. Still works as a palm hammer. Well, that works like a hot damn. I doubt that it lasts another 30 years, and when it breaks, that's pretty much it for this saw. But it should last however long this video takes. Speaking of plastic, this carburetor is not worth saving. I learned a lot from the comments in the last video, not the least of which is that my failure to get this running was actually the most accurate depiction of a Soviet chainsaw I could have possibly portrayed. But if spark is strong-ish and compression's okay, there's not much more to the equation. I just need a roughly stoichiometric air mixture to go into the gullet and go bang. All carburetors do that. So I went on Amazon and I found this. And then I found this. I need a new box cutter. This is a generic Chinese slide carburetor for one of those fruity 100cc motorized bicycle kits you see cheesing it down the Roosevelt Boulevard at 9 p.m. on a Friday night. Bought it for a couple reasons. One, it has a round outlet. No need to design an intake manifold with perfectly spaced flanges and the right bolt spacing and the right angle and all that bullshit. Second, it's designed for a 100cc two-stroke engine, which as far as I can figure, this is. You'd never put this on a normal chainsaw because, unlike diaphragm carbs, this can't be used sideways or upside down. It only works if you run it straight up and down, which is a non-issue because I lack the upper body strength and also the inclination to ever run this death trap on its side or over my head. This end will require a custom part with the right angle, and for that, I turned to Tinkercad, which is free for reasons my capitalist brain can't comprehend. Not only is it glow in the dark, but I got the rough shape exactly right. Oh, wait. I scanned in the gasket, but I forgot to mirror it. That cylinder is supposed to be an outie, not an innie. Just gotta separate the two halves. Flip the flange over 180. I knew I was gonna do this. I told myself not to do this, and I did it anyway. And just line it all back up again, and we should be good to go. Trying to CAD these 38mm spaced stud holes in exactly the right spot at exactly the right angle, sometimes it's better to wait to invade Russia until after winter, and sometimes it's better to wait to drill your holes until after you print it. I know what some of you are thinking. Does 3D printed glow-in-the-dark PLA have sufficient temperature and gasoline resistance for use on engines? The answer is, as usual, hopefully, but I'm doubtful.
Oh, now I get it!
That's not right. Who designed this piece of crap? Measure once, drill thrice. It's alright. This is just a rough draft, printed in the cheapest print settings just to make sure my spatial reasoning is intact, which clearly it isn't. It fits the first time. I can't believe it. I'm gonna go ahead and remove the chain bar. Had a little celebratory vodka when I got the manifold printed right for the first time, actually. And I know my safety limits when I've been drinking and thinking. Thinking and drinking. Ah, shit. I'm self-flagging. This ain't how I want to meet Jesus. Good Sunday morning and welcome back to my freshly cleaned workbench. Looks like some of that two-stroke mix made it in the tank okay. It's alive! It's alive! USA! USA! Y'all saw that, right? I'm gonna increase the idle speed. A lot of saws have a mechanism to hold the throttle open on startup to help it start until you blip the throttle and then it goes back to idle. But being this carb is from a Chicom motorized bicycle kit, you know. Maybe I am man enough for a Russian woman after all. It's these stupid crimp rings. They don't crimp them, they just blob solder on the end and rely on that to keep it from pulling through. I crimped it flat with some pliers. That way it's too big to fit through the hole ever again. This one has a plastic bushing sleeve and a locking pin as well. Nice touches. De-Sovietization at its best. I'm thinking if I get the steel crimp ring nice and hot, I should be able to crimp it tight in the old vise without cracking it. Nope, it cracked immediately. Since solder didn't work, I'm gonna solve this using the only thing I can think of, more solder. In the noble words of suburban dads across the globe, yep, that ain't going nowhere. Oh, what the f*** is it now? Ow! I see the problem. That is a triangle, and that is a triangle. If I were a smart man, which I'm not, but even my 2-year-old recognizes basic shapes. So, this one's entirely on me. Gotta straighten that out. What the hell? I like to tighten my fasteners to Polish spec, somewhere in between German spec and Russian spec. It's a little bit more than Guten tight, but not quite broken off. And the other side pulled out. Same exact problem, different expectations for some stupid reason, and now look, there's a hairline crack in the pulley too. We're on borrowed time here, folks. I'm going to try the socket idea again, but this time better. First, my favorite drill, and now my favorite Dremel. I'm not going to say this chainsaw's cursed, but I am running out of power tools. Moses, sandals. Another power tool down. Some of you may blame my incompetence, but this is gonna work. Well, now I don't have to worry about it ripping my chuck off, but I also can't keep it in sufficient contact, and the teeth keep slipping. Screw it, we're doing it the American way. If I can use this, I can wind up more, and then it won't bottom out and transfer all that shock directly to the pulley. That cable, way too short and zero stretch. American way failed. Need thicker rope. Whoa, Mexico, I guess I have to go down. This is gonna work. Take it off choke, nice and easy. Trying to bring the idle down, but it's jumping around like it's being electrocuted. Can't get the screwdriver on. That's a bit low. Got it. 8 slotted screws. It's been starting right up, but we may have reached a limitation of the 3D printed intake manifold. Gasoline resistance, 5 stars. Temperature resistance, 0 stars. Ow. I have this rubber sheet, which should insulate this nicely. I had it reprinted with a higher infill percentage for a little extra sturdiness. Gasket. Rubber insulator. And other gasket. This is gonna work. Now that I know the engine's healthy, I don't mind splurging on her a little bit. Got a proper throttle cable, communist red, with a little bit of capitalist razzle-dazzle embedded in there. A little bit of glitter. Starts on the first pull every time. Watch this. That runs great. Not even smoking that much. Shall we see if she'll buck a log before the universe changes its mind? Hardly smoking at all. It appears to be on fire very slightly, but it works. This hasn't quite liquefied yet. I do wonder what that smoke is. There's some big chips here, so at least some of the teeth are sharp. I don't think that's exhaust. It smells very strongly of burning rubber. Maybe if I let it sit and smolder long enough, it'll just whoosh. Now I know why it died. The intake manifold is solid, but the heat is conducting through the screws and melting the screw holes. Fortunately, this was just a proof of concept before I bothered trying to make one out of aluminum or copper or something. Now that we know it works reliably, I'd say it's probably worth putting a fresh chain and a metal intake on it. It starts and runs reliably, hasn't burst into flames quite yet, and it cuts perfectly straight. Let me know if you want to see more of this thing. I certainly don't, but I live, and most likely will die, for you guys. Thanks for watching.